Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Monday, July 13th, and we're in the middle of summer. Second quarter or third quarter, second quarter wrapped up, third quarter has started. Earnings seasons is upon us. This week we're going to get bank earnings, I believe, and then we're going to start seeing more stuff happening in terms of the different big techs reporting and so on and so forth. That's going to be a big topic. We also have news coming out this week. Not much today. Today is going to be a pretty light news day, but we have CPI coming out tomorrow. We have PPI coming out on Wednesday. The retail sales on Thursday. And more stuff coming up on Friday. Consumer sentiment on Friday. We have got housing data come out as well. Later in the week, looks like, though. So we'll see how this whole thing shapes up. But a little bit of news coming out, so that's a good sign. Overall, market is pretty much holding where we left it. Nasdaq showed some weakness in the overnight. The ES not so much. A little bit of a difference in how this market's played out here in the overnight, but Nasdaq definitely got hammered. So we got a mixed bag of stuff going on. Now we also had over the weekend the Iranian situation back and forth. They obviously that's back in more kinetic action. So we'll see how that shakes out. I think we're seeing a steady grind to the downside when it comes to what the Iranians can do. Yeah, they can shoot some missiles. They can keep doing that. But overall, they're not going to be. Everything's going to be less and less and less effective, being ground down to dust. They can still shoot a little bit, but it's going to be. I'm just waiting for them to really take the gloves off and finish that job they started. It doesn't seem like they have any idea what they want to do or they want to stop. So I think they said something about they were talking like Saturday and a little bit left an hour after they agreed to something they shot the drones again. So definitely a pattern of just sticking it in your eyes. So that's going to keep going. So that's going to be something we need to keep on our radar for a while. It's potential for headline news. But overall, I would say that we started off range bound. That's kind of the way we're going to start off in the overnight on the ES and Nasdaq, at least on Friday. I think the ES worked out pretty good. Nasdaq not so much, but the ES definitely started off range bound. Has been staying in this range, holding on to the gains, staying around that 7,600 level. And I would just start off range bound as well on the ES. And then let's see if they start trading above that 7,600, or maybe they start thinking about the long side a little bit more aggressively. But it's they're right there now, so I would give it a couple of levels before I really start leaning in on the long side. But initially, I would start off range bound and then look for a potential upward bias. Now, Nasdaq is the one which potentially could drag us down. We'll see how that one plays out today. But as looking at the ES right now, I would say looking to sell strength 76.05s, 76.15s, 76.25s for rotations down. I'm going to be looking to buy 75.80s, 75.70s, 75.65, 75.55s for rotations back up. So looking for buying opportunities against the 75.80s, the 65s, and the 55s for rotations up. So that's kind of where we are. We start trading below the 75.50s or 55s. I would be more inclined to lean on the short side and see if they're going to try to take it back down into this lower range. And if they start clearing this upper hurdle, the 76.15, 76.25s, I would definitely lean in on the long side. Maybe we get a nice little move to the upside. But I think I don't think we have any news today to drive the market in that direction. So I think we maybe just have to start off range bound, and then let's see if the market is going to try to trade higher or they're going to try to back off or neither. It's going to be one of those summer day wait and see what the market is trying to do. But when that happens, you start off range bound and you just kind of watch the market to see where it's going to go. And Nasdaq, if you're looking at that guy, absolutely messed up. They have so much range. In the bigger picture, as you can tell, it doesn't look as bad. Looks worse on the F2. On the F1, as you can see, we are still just trading in this range. So it's getting more and more obvious that the range right now, you have a little low volume area building here. You have an edge right there now. And I'm going to mark that up now. You see that volume edge right there? Worth watching. So this is a volume edge here, and this is start and end of that little low volume area. But this looks to be the upper area resistance at 30,070, 60 to 70s. On the lower edge, it's going to be down here at the 29,300s. And I would probably just take off this guy, for now at least. I don't think that's that important anymore. So you can see here we have a range right now with that trading back and forth. And the range is big. I mean, today they were up at 30,000, they're down at 29,500. So it's like 450 points to the downside in the overnight. Retrace a little bit, and then let's see where they're going to go from here. But also, I would start off range bound. Nasdaq, I would probably start off with a slight bias to the downside given the overnight and see if they can retest these lows. So it is, as you can see, mixed bag. The ES doesn't signal a whole lot of directional stuff. The Nasdaq is kind of signaling downwards movement. And if Nasdaq pushes lower, they're going to drag the ES with it for sure. So I would look to sell strength up to this the 29,790 to 29,800 for rotations down. Looking for shorts against that 740s and the 800s for rotations down. Above the 800s, I'm taking off that short bias and just going back range bound again. Looking to buy against support 630s. No, sorry, this is 600s, 580s, 540s for rotations up. And then let's see where they're going to go from there. If they start taking out these three support areas, that would be the overnight or the session lows, both the London and the session lows. If all of them come out, better off. We're probably heading down to test that 29,300 again. So, but you can see we are trading right in this area. Nice volume edge up here, right above 30,000. A little bit less defined here on the way down the volume edge, so you have a little bit wider area there, but that's the area we're trading in. So we are notably we are right in the middle. Even if the overnight looks like it's a lot weaker than the Friday session, we are still just smack in the middle of it. So it's just the volatility plays some tricks on your mind there. But given the overnight, I would start with a slight bias to the downside to see if they can retest these lows. On the ES, I'm just going to start flat out range bound to see, and then watch to see where they go. The chances are Nasdaq may be the one to watch for directional moves today, but we'll just take it as it comes. Finally, the bonds, and they haven't done much. I just kind of sitting here. They're actually heading down, drifting lower right now. The overnight has been kind of weak. So overall, they're down here, flirting with this low again, the 110, 24, 26. And if that comes out, I would stay on the short side. So early on, looking to sell strength against that 111s and then 111, 5 to 6 for rotations back down. About the 11, 5 to 6, I would take off that short bias and go back a range bound. A pretty tight range on the bonds, but it looks like it's net drifting to the downside, even if it feels like it's doing it in slow motion. So that's the bonds. Not much else to say about that guy. So I'm looking to buy against 26s, looking early on to see if that's going to hold, or looking for buying opportunities, I should say. And then 1106s for rotations back down, selling opportunities. So above the 1106s, maybe have a retracement to the upside. Looking at cryptos is pretty much, you see silver back and forth. It's still around 58, 59. Gold back down to 4,000. They've been trading pretty tight range, getting kind of set up in the range here. So this will be the gold crypto. They've been sliding back and forth here a little bit, but it's they've been going back and forth here between 41 and 41.2, 41.3, so back and forth. This is an F2, not as easy to see, but it's moving in the range. Hasn't really extended a whole lot. Hasn't really. Remember, they ran up to 5,000 or something, backed off. They've been trading around 4,000. That's a little bit below it. And oil up to 74. It's going to be a little bit of pressure on oil, I guess, given the stuff going on there with the stuff going on in the Strait of Hormuz. But I think they're on top of it. So, and the market is not getting panicky or anything like that. It's just a mild risk premium on it right now. It's fun stuff there. Not fun. I shouldn't say fun. It's the interesting observation there is that the administration says Strait is open. Iranian says it's closed, and well, we'll see who wins. Anyway, the so Bitcoin kind of holding in a range. They backed off a bit. We're up at 64. They're down to 62 now. Ethereum is still holding on pretty good. That's 1780. They were down way before that, but they've been up to the 1800s for a bit. So we'll see if they can hold the line. Looks like Ethereum is finding a little support area right here at the 1775 to 80. So we'll see. But I haven't traded any Bitcoin futures in the overnight. That's kind of washed a bit, but nothing really looked like there was an opportunity. So back to the ES and the Nasdaq, and here we are, just twisting in the wind still. So what I'm going to be watching for today is the Nasdaq. If Nasdaq is going to try to take it lower, if so, probably going to stay on the short side of this. But as I said, starting Nasdaq with a slight bias to the downside, watching that upper area at 7A at the 29,800s and these lower support areas. And for the ES, it's a flat out range bound, and we're watching that lower 75.55 and the upper 76.15 to 76.25. If those comes out, we may have a directional move going, but too early to tell. All right, guys, we'll see that. We'll wrap it there. I'll see you back at 11:30 for the next update. It's a good trading. Remember, it's summer type trading. ES 240,000. That's not bad. Nasdaq 870. Also not bad, but kind of light for Nasdaq, I guess. So we'll see. All righty, guys. I'll wrap it there. I'll see you back at 11:30. So good trading, and I'll see you back then.